This man's life and nature and identity changed because he was bold enough to wrestle with God for a blessing. That's what we call a legacy, guys. That's what you and I should aspire to be, to leave a legacy that transcends us. Your legacy doesn't begin when life gets easy. In fact, your life is never going to be easy. Your legacy begins the moment that you start pretending and you start wrestling with God for who He says you are.
This is the Legacy Maker Show.
Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Welcome to another episode of Legacy Maker Podcast. Actually, we are in episode number 24. This is crazy. We're already on 24 episodes. And in this podcast, we are not just building better men. That's not our hope. Our hope is that we will help you build lasting legacy through faith, through discipline, and through obedience. And this episode is actually not for a casual man, a man who is like just coasting through life. It's not for the man who wants to be comfortable, who has this polished way to approach things, that has these surface level relationships. It's for a man who is willing to get truly in the ring. That's right, to get in the ring and truly fight. We're talking about the kind of faith that wrestles, that is not comfortable just on this polished lifestyle, but is ready to get down and dirty. The kind of man that is not afraid to have a limp after the fight. The kind of man who says, God, you know what? I will not let you go until something happens. The kind of man who is not afraid to get a little bruises here and there. Too many of us are playing it safe in our church life or in our regular relationship lives. We have this polite way of approaching God and very, very, very calm, very sort of like kind of stem back a little bit. And yeah, we pray and then we bring our family and our needs and our wants and desires to the Lord. But we really are talking on this episode. My heart is that we will be honest, that we'll be raw, that we will have a desperate prayer, the kind of prayer that wrestles for a real transformation, a real change, a real impact, a real intervention. That's the type of prayer I'm talking about. This episode is inspired to, in a way that would allow you to realize that, you know what, I am done playing it safe. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about a specific event. If you know me, you've been around this podcast for a while, you know that I reference a lot in the Bible. And the reason for that, if you're new to this podcast, it's we don't have a better reference of men and women who truly built a legacy. The fact that 2,000 plus years later, we still reading about their lives, that means that they built a legacy. And that's my hope, that whatever happens to us in this life, our legacy will transcend us. So in Genesis 32:24 says, so Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the daybreak. Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the daybreak. So Jacob wanted a blessing, right? He wanted a blessing. He wanted a transformation in his life. He wanted something that it was a monumental thing in his life. And he wanted to see a real change in his life. He was trying to make sure that his life wasn't just about him, that his life had a purpose and a meaning, that he didn't want to be defined by other people define him as. They define him as the thief and the robber and the liar and the thieves and the conniver, but he wasn't going to take that identity. He needed a new identity. He needed a new transformation. So there is this moment in his life where he is praying so intensely. He is literally praying so hard that the angel of God shows up and starts fighting with him. And they start wrestling. And then Jacob says, I will not let you go until you bless me. I will not let you go until you change my nature. I will not let you go until you change the man I am. I don't want to live with this label. I want there to be a true transformation in my life. So in this moment, God begins to wrestle with him And there is this almost like this back and forth, and then the day is breaking, the deadline is breaking. And this angel of the Lord says, just let me go. It's time to it's about to be daytime. He said, I will not let you go. So then the angel of the Lord touches the thigh of Jacob and pulls it. And he said, you're no longer going to be called Jacob. You're going to be called Israel. So his name gets changed in this moment, guys. And his walk is no longer the same. His walk changed from being just a normal walk to now he has a limp. So anybody would ask him, what happened to you? He will be able to testify of the moment that he was in the presence of God. And there was a transformation, not only on his external, obviously his limp was very clear, but also his internal, his identity. Because his name was changed from Jacob, his nature, his identity was changed from Jacob to Israel, a prince of God. So God doesn't wrestle with who you pretend to be. He wrestles with the real you. He wrestles with a person that really wants a true transformation. And I know many of you guys, I know you can just sit here and pretend, but let's be honest. You're tired, just like I am. Man, I am tired of this, almost like there is this desire to change and an ability to change, the desire to be this person that I know I can be, and having to live with the reality that I have to deal with this. And seems like I go to God and there's this, yes, I pray, yes, I ask the Lord, but there is not this, almost this fight to say, I will not let you go until there is a real change in my life. And this is not a disrespectful fight that we wrestle with God. Wrestling with God is not a rebellion. Wrestling with God is not like, oh, okay, I'm just going to fight with God. No, it's a pursuit of a change, a true inner desire for a change, for a blessing, for a miraculous to take place. In fact, God actually invites us to wrestle. And I'm going to grab my Bible here, guys, because you know what? Sometimes it's very, very important. 12:4, I'll read this to you guys. It says, yea, he had the power over the angel and prevailed. He won. He wept and made supplication unto him. He found him in Bethel, and there he spake with us. He wrestled with the angel and won and prevailed. He wept and saw his favor. God wasn't fighting against God. He was fighting to get a hold of him. He was fighting for a change, for inner change. There is a difference between arguing with God and refusing to let go. It's arguing, no, you're back and forth, or saying, I will not let you go because I know what you're capable of doing in my life. I know that I wasn't meant for this, and I'm not going to let you go until there is a complete transformation in my life. Wrestle means not letting it go in the dark, not letting it go when you're in this place of darkness. I'm not going to let you go when I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on in my life. I don't understand why things have to be this way. And I'm not going to let you go because I got to have an answer from you. And I'm not going to let you go even if it hurts. Even if it means that it's hurting so bad. Here's the reality, guys. Real man doesn't just say prayers that sound spiritual. We all have done that. We all have said a prayer. Lord, help me. Oh, Lord, be with me. Oh, Lord, bless my kids. Oh, Lord, I need you. Oh, Lord, thank you. And there's nothing wrong with that. But a real man doesn't just stay in that surface level. Real men fight for the truth in that secret place. Fight and go deep in a pursuit of a true change and transformations. Are your prayers safe or are your prayers honest? Are you being safe and saying, oh Lord, thank you so much. Life is amazing. You are so good to me. And again, I'm not belittling that the ability to recognize the goodness of God and the ability to recognize, that we got to be thankful. But are we just staying on that level, or are we being honest with God? Are we saying, Lord, I failed you again. I've tried and I failed you deeply. Are you venting to God, or are you contending for a breakthrough? Are you just like, Lord, look at my life, look at my finances, look at my situation, look at my inability to change, look at how bad I am, look at this? Or are you fighting for a breakthrough? I need you to intervene in my business. I gotta have you in my business. I gotta have a breakthrough in my finances. I'm done feeling that I never have enough. I need you to be with me. I need you to give me the wisdom so I can see the way that you want me to see, that I'll be able to assimilate the business the way that you want me to assimilate. I gotta have a breakthrough. That is that type of prayer that you pray. And the reality is that the blessing that you and I are expecting, it comes through the bruising that we are experiencing. What does that mean? It means that, think about the verse that we read, wrestle, and then the angel of the Lord touched his hip. It went basically out of socket. I mean, one touch from God, it changes everything. It changes the way you walk. It changes that you behave. It changes the way that you and I perceive things. From that moment that he was fighting with God, where he wrestling with God, the angel of God, that in that moment his walk never ever was the same. The limp was not a punishment. A lot of people think, oh, God is punishing me. No, God doesn't work like that. He's not punishing you. Quit crying. Quit acting like a girl. I'm sorry. Quit acting like a baby. He's not punishing you. That bruise, that limp was a reminder. A reminder of what? That he has been, that he was in the presence of God and that he lived to tell everyone about it. Some of us want to go into the presence of God and want a breakthrough, but we don't want any bruise, any pain. And the pain makes us stronger at times. The pain that sometimes we experience in our lives, it's the very testimony that God is doing something in our lives. We want a testimony without attention. We want anointing without being able to, without wrestling with God, without really get down to the nitty gritty. But when you limp, when your walk is different, it means that you've been marked with God. You have been marked by God. The wound that you have is not the problem. The wound that you have, you've been wounded, is not the problem. The wound is the proof that you've been in the ring with God, that you have been in the presence of God, and that you are surrendering everything, but you are saying, I will not let you go. The blessing didn't come instead of the limp. The blessing came through the limp. So it wasn't like, I am going to bless you, so I'm not going to cause a limp in you. I said, through this limp, I'm going to show you my blessing. It may be the limp that you're experiencing is not a failure. Maybe it's the very thing that qualifies you and I to walk into a calling with humility. Maybe that limp is maybe the pain that you and I have gone through in our lives are so we can recognize who we are and who God is. Maybe to recognize that I cannot do anything without the strength and the help of God. Think about these guys. And I go back to what I said in the beginning. The name of Jacob was changed. Jacob means deceiver, grasper, liar. But Israel means God's wrestler. God, that one who prevails. And we can even hear about Israel even today. Think about the legacy that these men left. Think about the legacy that even today, we still hear about this incredible country called Israel came from these men. This man's life and nature and identity changed because he was bold enough to wrestle with God for a blessing. That's what we call a legacy, guys. That's what you and I should aspire to be, to leave a legacy that transcends us. Your legacy doesn't begin when life gets easy. In fact, your life is never going to be easy. Your legacy begins the moment that you stop pretending and you start wrestling with God for who he says you are. Start asking, who am I? Start asking. Your legacy begins the moment that you stop pretending and start wrestling with God for who he says you are. You're not what the world says you are. You're not what you said you are. You're not what the world says you are. You are what he says you are. That's what you got to understand. You can't walk in your future holding into your fake name. That name that somebody gave you, that name, that you're scared, you are an addict, you are a failure, you are a drug addict, you are an alcoholic, you are a sex addict, are a shameful. You continue to walk under this fake name, and you cannot go through life carry on this fake name. That just cannot happen. What is the false identity that you've been clinging to? What is that identity that you've been make it almost your own? Are you willing to lay down that identity and let God rename you for what he says you are? And that doesn't happen unless you're willing to get in the ring with God. How to wrestle with God today? How? You say, okay, that sounds great, Roger, but how can I actually wrestle with God in today's world? I want to be able to truly get my name changed, my identity changed. I want my walk to be different. I want my walk to be a reminder that of his goodness, of his blessing over my life. First, number one is get alone with God. Get alone with God. Just like Jacob did. Turn off the noise, man. No phone, no filters, no this pretty prayer anymore. The transformation is going to begin on your solitude, where you are alone, face to face with God. And you don't get up until you feel that there is a moment of transformation in your life. Number two, get honest with God. Get honest. No more church talk. Oh, Lord, you're so wonderful. And again, please don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with admitting the goodness of God. But when you live on that level, when your prayers are on that level, it's just this spiritual cover up that we go through. Be real, guys. Be raw. Be authentic. In fact, he already knows. He knows what you're struggling with. He knows your fears. He knows your doubts. He knows your shame. He knows your failures. He knows your struggle. He knows everything. Just be real with him. Be honest. Be transparent. Be raw. Hold on, and even when it hurts. That's the number three. Hold on even when it hurts. Don't let pain make you walk away. When you are confessing, when you're speaking with God, sometimes the pain is going to come. The pain of your past, the pain of what you've done, the pain of the way that you've been hurting, the pain that when things begin to be a reminder of the things that you've gone through in your life, that could be hurtful. That could be painful. But hold on. Let it deepen your grip, saying, even through this pain, I will continue to cry out to you, God. Ask for the right blessing in your life. No, there's no problem. There's no issues asking for money. There is no issue asking for a better financial status, or asking for more muscles, or asking for a better car. You can do that. But that is so surface levels, guys. Ask for your new identity. Asking for your new name. Asking for a transformation in your life. Fight for a new identity. Saying, I need a new identity. I want to know who you say I am. Walk with a limp. Walk with a limp. Your limp tells a story. Hey, I fell. I've been in this situation, but look at what God did for me. Don't hide it. Go with your brother. Let them know about your limp and use it for his glory. Use it so he can be glorified, that he still forgives, he still changes, he still heals. Let your weakness reveal God's strength. You're not wrestling because God is against you. You're wrestling because he wants to change you. He's not against your life. He's not on opposition to you. He just wants you to align with him, because he has a better plan for your life. He wants to change your nature. And it's his word to change. Some of us want to change ourselves, so we've tried everything. You cannot change yourself, but God can change you. He can change us as long as we allow him to. So here's the reality, brother. The reason we are restless, the reason you feel there is restless in your heart, and I feel like that too, man. I feel restless. I feel sometimes it's just like, man, I feel like I don't have any strength. Maybe, just maybe, God is calling us for a wrestle, to get in the ring with him, to go not for a performance, not to hide. He's not calling you to the ring so you can show everybody how great you are. He's calling you to the ring so he can grab, so he would allow you to get him, and so he changes you. The transformation begins in that place that we don't feel as comfortable, in that place that we feel vulnerable, in that place that we feel a little bit of out of place. And guys, legacy begins when we stop asking God to bless us, to bless the men that we pretend to be, and we let him transform the men that we really are. We can all continue to play church and play safe, so we can all get a little accolades and hurrah, hooray, you're amazing, and how great you are. We can all pretend. We are great pretenders. We are great posers. We're posing the way that we want people to view us. But if you want to truly leave a legacy, just like Jacob did, to his name gets completely changed and his life transformed for generations to come because of that moment that he wrestled one-on-one with God and said, I will not let you go? How long do we spend in our knees crying out to God? How long do we fast from the desires of from this world? How long do we do that in order for God to bless us? We want to continue to play safe, to want to continue to play church, and yet we want to be changed? Come on, guys. Seriously. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It's the moment that you begin to cry out to God. Cry out to God. And we keep saying, I'm not here for a blessing, for the man that I pretend to be. So you can put a stamp and approval so people can continue to see me as, oh, this great dude. I want him to transform the man that I'm really. I want to transform this man that is a little fearful man. I want him to transform this man who is a shame man, this man who is weak, who cannot overcome these temptations. I want him to change that man, and God can do it when we step into the room, into that ring for a true transformation. And I'm calling you out right now, guys. And you know, you're gonna turn this podcast and you're gonna be like, well, that was great, or that was I'm gonna simplify this moment. Your legacy is not gonna be made if you're building your legacy on pretending man, on that status that you want people to know about you. You may end up and people are going to remember you as great guy. Congratulations. And everybody remembers, they go to your funeral and everybody talks about how great you are. But legacy is when you begin to build your life on honestly and going into the wrestle, and God begins to put stones of identity, begins to speak who you are in him, begins to speak who are you in him and what he called you to be. So this is the day, guys. This is the day where we're pretending to play, pretending, and we quit playing church, we quit playing safe, and we begin to cry out to God. Go to your secret place. Go to the secret place. Go to that place and be honest with God. Hold on, even if it hurts. Ask for the right blessing. Ask for God to change your nature and walk with a limp, because that's going to be your testimony that is going to help tomorrow as you continue to build your legacy. So guys, if this podcast, this moment spoke to you, please share it with somebody. Don't just hold on to yourself. There is some men who are desperate. They are desiring a change, a new identity in their life. Send this to a brother who needs to get in the ring with God. Say, hey, just text it, say, share, hey, look, listen, take a look at this. Listen to this. And if you're wrestling with God right now, good. You need to. God wants to change you and I into the man that he created you to be. Don't tap out. Don't run out. Hold on. Better days are coming. As long as you humble yourself and recognize that you cannot do it without him. These legacy makers, we believe the real men walk with a limp because they wrestle with God and they live to lead. God bless you again, guys. Share with somebody. Give it a like. Send a comment if you need anything from me. I love to chat with you, and I love to hear from you. So thank you again. Have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you soon.